Hey, how you doing there again, folks? Me again, of course, Brandon Wenzel. Come back at you, another offering off my sampler platter. Yes, indeed, folks, sampler review series V's I do for the one. I go over there, try out food and drink items. I eat stuff, I drink stuff, then, folks. Ah, my hands are a little bit. I'm gonna talk about stuff. I'm gonna let you know all that you need to know about hopefully delicious stuff. That time I'm doing this, folks, I'm not gonna lie, I'm so disappointed. One more time. It's a little bit better. But anyway, folks, it's super simple format. I'm going to go over there. I'm going to try out food and or drink items for you. Whilst I'm doing so, I'm yammering on about it for a bit. Whilst I'm doing all that, I'm inside my truck. And whilst I'm doing all that, folks, I'm wearing grody work clothes. Typically, when I'm inside the truck and I'm wearing grody work clothes, that means that I was on my way home from work and I found some shit to review for you. That is not the case in this particular instance. I actually bought this at work. Because place that I work, we have a we have a break room, and they've got like a little kiosk and like a little section for food you could buy. When I first started working there, they just had some vending machines, and that was it. But eventually they redid the whole thing, and so now you can buy stuff, and it's overpriced to hell, but it's still better than vending machine options. So I saw this particular item. It must have been a new thing that they put out. I didn't know it existed, so. What is it? What are we doing here, folks? It happens to be boom! It's Chex Mix Bar. Specifically of the peanut butter chocolate variety. Naturally and artificially flavored with Chex pieces, pretzels, and peanut butter. It's the king size one because I'm a king like that. There we go. So let's do a thing for thing. Yeah, that works. Ha 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 ha! And yeah, it's like a little breakfast bar thing, but with Chex Mix, I guess. So if it doesn't have Chex Mix in it, I'm gonna be disappointed and I don't even know what to think. But I'm guessing it does. And I was joking when I said that it wouldn't. That was all just a little bit of a bit. Not a great bit, by the way, but a bit nonetheless. I don't see any Chex Mix in there. I'm guessing that's the crumbled up shit, but go with me on this, right? Okay, what? Okay, look at that. Look at that. That's what I was expecting to see. There's none of that. Look at that. There's none of that. Wow. That ended up being weirdly prophetic. Alright, so I guess I'm going to have this Chex Mix bar without any Chex Mix in it. I'm sure it's probably ground up or something like that, but that's fucking false advertising right there. If they can make a Golden Grams bar where the Golden Grams are intact. It's okay. It's kind of like my immediate sensation that hit me when I bit into it was, hey, this tastes a lot like a Rice Krispie square, which makes sense. It's effectively a Rice Krispie square. By the way, whoever the fuck came up with Rice Krispie squares, they should have a fucking monument, and they should be on currency. Because not only are they delicious, but then on top of that, it just turned out, hey, we can just marshmallow up a bunch of shit and stick it together. Formed a whole industry. So yeah, it definitely has that aspect to it for sure. And then my brain wanted it to be like a breakfast bar. Again, like a Golden Grams bar, what have you. But it's not. It's more, it's a little bit closer to almost kind of like a protein bar equivalent. It doesn't have a protein bar taste. But the way the texture is and stuff like that. See, here's the thing. If it had actually had actual Chex pieces in it, right? You could bite into it and that would create a variation of textures and stuff, and it would be a rewarding thing. But with this, because it's all just kind of this homogenous what the fuck ever for the most part, it just, yeah, and it reminds me of protein bars that I've had in the past. So, kind of a fail on the the eating experience, in terms of like the texture, and the flavor ain't bad though. Because again, right to open up, very similar to kind of the flavor you get from Rice Krispie Square. Kind of that sort of mild marshmallowy flavor. I know Chex tries to sort of like play the game of like they're sort of a healthy thing, even though, let's be honest, they're not really. I think that's what they're doing here. And instead of just going full in and leaning more into the breakfast bar kind of way of doing things, which would have been better, instead they kind of half in, half out, where it was like, oh no, there's still chocolate and stuff, but like, oh, we're also kind of a healthy thing, so we're kind of a, sort of protein bar sort of thing. Yeah. It's kind of semi-sweet. Like, the sweetest part is probably the aftertaste, because that's when you're getting more of the chocolate flavor. The rest of it is kind of a mild peanut butter and, somewhat mild chocolate. Yeah, it really doesn't hit on any particular level. I guess there are like little pretzel pieces in there, so I guess that's something, but yeah, the texture isn't bad, but again, it's just a bit too reminiscent of protein bar stuff that I've had. And the flavor is just very weak for what I was expecting. Yeah. Yeah, I'll be honest. I came into this expecting this would be a winner, an easy win. I like Chex Mix. I like things in bar format. Why wouldn't I like this? The answer is because they didn't do a very good job with it, in my opinion. Or rather, they didn't do a very good job for what my expectation of it was, to be fair. Yeah. I mean, two questions have to be asked. Would I get it again? Would I recommend it? No, and not particularly. For me personally, again, this is more of like a health bar than it is, again, like a breakfast bar, something like that. And I'm sure that that's fine for some people, but for me, it's not at all what I was expecting, and I didn't get anything close to the experience that I wanted. I didn't get a nice, solid peanut butter and chocolate experience. I got a very weak version of that, and it wasn't even at its best anything to write home about. It's like, it didn't remind me of a Reese's or anything else. Like it just really didn't work that well. And then, again, I have to point out the fact that it's like, yeah, I think if you would have had like actual Chex pieces in there or something to kind of break up the field a little bit from a textural standpoint, it would have maybe worked a little bit better. For me personally, I really thought I was going to like this. And it's clear that they were sort of marketing this for somebody who isn't me. But then that kind of ties into whether or not I would recommend this. And I'm still not going to, because it's fine if you're not marketing it to me. I understand that not all products are for me. And a lot of times I'm more than willing to go over there and say, hey, this product might not be to my personal taste, but I think other people will be all for it. I don't think that this is the case with this. I'm not saying there aren't people who couldn't like it, right? But again, I think in doing this half in, half out kind of thing that they did with it, you're not getting, like I said, you're not getting a nice chocolate peanut butter experience. You're not getting the enjoyment of Chex Mix from it. So it's already failed on every aspect of its description, in my opinion. But let's say, again, maybe you're kind of looking at it more as like a health bar, that kind of thing. There's already a million of those products. And I mean, I've reviewed a bunch of them on this channel. So, if you want my opinion on some of those things. There are so many of those products that are probably doing whatever you want to get out of them better than this is. And I've had ones that have been chocolate peanut butter flavor that tasted better than this. I mean, I'll mention this. It doesn't taste bad. It's just extremely weak, and it just feels very flaccid. It's just, bleh. And yeah, I mean, and for me, that really kind of hurts it even worse. It's like, it'd be one thing if I just didn't like it, because it didn't appeal to my palate. This, I don't think, really is going to appeal to anybody. It's just this weird, homunculus bullshit bar that's not good at anything it's trying to do. It's like a fucking multi-sport athlete, that's like trying to be pro on every level. It's like, look, stick to one thing. Just do the one. But anyway, 5 things before I get out of here. Have yourself a great rest of your day, spectacular rest of your week. Monumental rest of your month, stupendous rest of your folks. Go over there, have yourselves a truly proper Chex Mix-tastic rest of your life. Not this bullshit. Just go get yourself a nice bag of Chex Mix. It's delicious. Everybody's had it. It's wonderful. Final 2 things. Number 1, try to bring some positivity into the world. It's not always possible. It is, however, always appreciated. But what you do if you can't do all the time, I know I can't do all the time. Here's what you're going to do, folks. You're going to try not to be an asshole. Folks, it's not always the easiest thing in the world to not be an asshole. Trust me. I know it. I live it. I'm out there every day with you in it. Life can be stressful and frustrating and just bullshit sometimes, folks. And when we find ourselves in situations where we have to deal with said bullshit, it's important that we go over there whenever possible. Take a step back, try to mitigate the level of assholishness in our lives, hopefully do better for ourselves and for those around us. Very final thing, folks, do the thing. Whatever the thing is for you, that's what I want you to go out and do. Folks, here's what I want you to go out and do. I don't typically call for this type of stuff, not that my influence has to any extent. Don't buy this. Seriously. It's not bad, but it is not good enough to be worth existing. I'm throwing that out there. It is a know-nothing product that they could easily get rid of or just redo and pick a side and actually make it worth something. I would prefer that. But as is, this is just some shit that's taking up shelf space and resources that can be used for other things. And the older I get, the more bitter I get when I see shit like this, where it's like, that is for nobody. And I'm sure there are some people who probably enjoy it. That's fine. I'm not trying to criticize you. But this doesn't need to exist. I'm just, anyway.